What you're looking at is no longer just a border. It has become a solid cage closing in on Russia. In the north, Finland has slammed the door. The Baltic states have entrenched themselves. One by one, Putin's neighbors are turning away. But there is one link in this chain that isn't satisfied with simply closing the door. Poland is locking it shut. Brace yourself, because the decision you're about to hear effectively ends Europe for Russians, not temporarily, but permanently. The relationship between Warsaw and Moscow is finished. Diplomacy is off the table. Consulates have been shut down. Trade has collapsed. Borders are sealed with dragon's teeth and tank traps. Europe's gates are now guarded by biometric barriers aimed directly at Russian citizens. Poland's barrier isn't just rows of concrete blocks along its border. On one side, the Warsaw government is constructing hardened military defenses through its Eastern Shield project, designed to stop armored vehicles cold. On the other, it has launched a sweeping purge of Russian influence inside the country. What began as a physical blockade has evolved into an uncompromising diplomatic war. Intelligence briefings delivered to Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski revealed that Russian consulates were being used as operational hubs for sabotage. Reports showed that attempted acts of disruption, both inside Poland and abroad, were organized by the Russian state. Warsaw responded decisively. First, the strategically important Poznań consulate in western Poland was shut down. Moscow didn't back off. Instead, it escalated. In May 2025, Poland closed the consulate in historic Kraków. The trigger was shocking: the arson of a major shopping center in Warsaw. Polish intelligence stated that the order came directly from Russian intelligence and that the consulate played a coordinating role. The final blow came on November 19th, when Warsaw decided to shut down Russia's last remaining outpost, the consulate in Gdansk on the Baltic coast. That decision was enforced on December 23rd. Why? Because Russian operatives sabotaged the Warsaw-Lublin rail line using explosives. Minister Sikorski appeared on camera and called it what it was: state-sponsored terrorism. As of today, not a single Russian flag flies above a consulate building in Poland. But the crackdown didn't stop there. For Russian citizens, the door to Poland isn't just closed, it's locked, and the key has been discarded. According to reports from Belarusian opposition media, Poland is preparing a technological blockade. Starting in April 2026, Russian 5-year passports without biometric chips will no longer be accepted at Polish border crossings. The reason is clear. Russian agents frequently travel using forged identities and outdated documents. Poland now wants a digital fingerprint from every Russian entering its territory. This move effectively turns much of Europe into a no-go zone for Russian travelers. But paperwork is only one side of the separation. The real physical cutoff already happened on the rails. The numbers are unmistakable. Poland has indefinitely suspended all international passenger train services with Russia and Belarus. Routes that once ran from Warsaw to Moscow and onward into Asia are now silent. The Warsaw-Moscow line is gone. Direct trains to Kaliningrad have been halted. Poland has physically severed Russia from Europe's rail network. Yet a larger geopolitical maneuver is unfolding. This isn't just about passengers. It's about cargo. Poland has also restricted freight traffic at the Belarusian border, citing security exercises in 2025. The result is the choking of the Małaszewicze terminal, China's main gateway into Europe. Warsaw's message to Beijing is blunt: if you don't restrain Putin, your goods won't reach European markets. The silence on these tracks is an economic cardiac arrest for Russia and a logistical nightmare for China. As the ground routes shut down, tensions are rising in the sky. Polish fighter jets remained on full alert even on December 25th, Christmas Day. That night, A large Russian Il-20 reconnaissance aircraft packed with listening equipment was detected over the Baltic Sea. It was monitoring radar frequencies off Poland's coast. Polish F-16s scrambled immediately, intercepted the aircraft aggressively, and forced it out of the area. But the real alarm sounded later that same night in the Podlaskie region near the strategically vital Suwałki corridor. Warsaw abruptly closed the airspace to civilian traffic. Missiles? Drones? No. The reason was far more subtle: smuggling balloons drifting in from Belarus. So why would one of NATO's strongest militaries shut down its airspace over balloons carrying a few packs of cigarettes? Because this is the most dangerous layer of hybrid warfare. Belarus and Russia are applying a three-step tactic. These balloons contain no metal and move slowly, causing radar systems to misidentify them as birds or clouds. By launching them, Russia probes Poland's air defenses, testing detection limits, blind spots, and response times. A single balloon costs about $50 to launch. 1 hour of an F-16 scramble costs roughly $20,000. If a missile is fired, the price tag jumps into the millions. This is how Russia bleeds NATO economically. Repetition breeds complacency. When operators finally dismiss the threat, that's when a Shahed suicide drone carrying explosives replaces the balloon. Poland understands this risk. Every object entering its airspace must be treated as if it carries a nuclear payload. That's why the Ministry of Defense states, "These balloons are not harmless. They are forward scouts for a potential air assault." While blockades tighten in the air and on the rails, Poland has begun constructing land defenses unseen since World War II. Codenamed Tartsov Wschód, launched in November 2024 and set for completion by 2028, the project is transforming the Russian and Belarusian border into a lethal barrier. The price tag, $2.5 billion. Satellite imagery confirms the scale. By December 2025, 3 new fortified lines appeared along the Kaliningrad frontier. Rows of spiked concrete dragon's teeth are being installed to stop armored advances. 14 massive storage depots filled with concrete blocks have already been delivered. The goal is 100. This is a physical wall meant to destroy tank formations. But the most alarming development lies underground. Poland is preparing to break long-standing international norms. Warsaw plans to withdraw from the Ottawa Treaty banning anti-personnel mines. The objective is to deploy between 5 and 6 million mines along the border. Annual production capacity is being expanded to 1.2 million units. Poland is no longer merely defending. It is preparing strategic dominance. Defense spending for 2025 has surged to $32 billion, equal to 4.7% of GDP. That figure isn't just a NATO record, it's among the highest military concentrations ever seen during peacetime. Warsaw views every shot fired in Ukraine as directly tied to its own survival. Its arsenal is being rebuilt from the ground up. Soviet-era systems are being phased out and replaced with the world's most advanced platforms. 32 F-35 Lightning. 2 stealth fighters from the United States now anchor Poland's air power, reshaping its dominance of the skies. On the ground, more than 250 M1A2 Abrams SEP V3 tanks give Poland a decisive edge over Russia's T-90 and T-80 fleets. Nearly 1,000 K2 Black Panther main battle tanks purchased from South Korea have quickly created Europe's most modern armored fleet. Complementing them, 500 K9 Thunder howitzers provide long-range, high-precision artillery fire up to 50 kilometers. Warsaw has also integrated JASSM-ER cruise missiles with a range of 1,000 kilometers, demonstrating that Poland now wields not just defensive capabilities, but also the ability to strike deep into strategic targets. AH-64E Apache Guardian attack helicopters are being added to the Army, serving as highly effective hunters of tanks and armored formations. But what is the bigger strategic picture behind these military and diplomatic moves? Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky offered the answer. The most daunting reality for Russia is the alliance of Ukraine and Poland. When we stand together, he said, they cannot defeat us. History really reinforces this point. Whenever Poland and Ukraine formed a united front, Russia's ambitions to expand westward were blocked. From the 17th century Polish-Ukrainian alliances to the joint defense that repelled the Red Army at Warsaw in 1920, these shared efforts remain etched in Kremlin memory. Today, that historical trauma is being revived. Zelensky's statement isn't symbolic. It reflects logistics on the ground. From the start of the war, Poland handled Europe's largest refugee influx, hosting over 10 million Ukrainians. It offered free healthcare, temporary housing, education, and employment opportunities. Beyond civilians, government and local municipalities mobilized transport, housing, and social support. Poland also became the heart of the military supply chain. F-16s, Leopard 2 tanks, HIMARS rocket systems, Patriot batteries, ammunition, and drones from the United States and NATO arrived first in Poland before being routed to Ukraine. Yezhuvka Airport acted as NATO's rear base for operations in Ukraine, with United States Special Forces and logistics units stationed there. Safe railway, road, and convoy routes were established across Polish territory, ensuring uninterrupted supply lines to the front. Poland wasn't just a neighbor. It became a lifeline, a weapons corridor, a breathing tube. Russia repeatedly targeted Poland's role. Kremlin propaganda branded Warsaw a war instigator, a tool of NATO's eastward expansion and a Western proxy. Hybrid threats followed troop buildups along the Belarus border, migrant pressures, cyber attacks, and disinformation campaigns. Nuclear expansion in Kaliningrad sent a direct deterrence message. The land targeted is not just any province. It is a flashpoint in Europe's history. Today it is Kaliningrad, but before 1945 it was Königsberg, a center of civilization, intellect, and Prussian military tradition. Founded in 1255 by the Teutonic Knights, Königsberg was the eastern edge of German identity, birthplace of Prussian militarism, and intellectual hub of the Enlightenment. Kant walked its streets, and military doctrines that shaped Europe were developed there. As the capital of East Prussia, it became both a strategic and symbolic target during the final months of World War II. In 1945, the Red Army captured the city, expelled its German population, demolished much of it, and rebuilt it, renaming it Kaliningrad in 1946 after Mikhail Kalinin, a loyal Soviet official. This transformation planted a Soviet red flag deep in Europe, creating a strategic outpost against the West. Kaliningrad became the Soviet victory symbol, hosting the Baltic Fleet, nuclear-capable missiles, S-400 systems, and electronic warfare platforms. A city turned above-ground war machine, an unsinkable aircraft carrier according to the Kremlin. Now, 80 years later, the strategic picture is shifting. A Polish general openly discusses Kaliningrad not just in defense but as a potential target for counterstrikes. For Moscow, this is more than a military threat, it is a historical nightmare. In short, the bridges between Poland and Russia have not only been burned, they have been obliterated. Diplomacy is finished, borders are sealed, jets patrol the skies, tank traps litter the land, Russians will not enter Poland, consulates will not reopen. Dragon's teeth will remain for decades. Poland has advanced beyond being NATO's eastern flank. It is now NATO's spearhead. And Zelensky is correct. As long as the Ukraine-Poland alliance endures, Russia's European ambitions will shatter against the concrete walls of the Polish border. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like and subscribe, and well, see you in the next video.